Yes. So, first of all, Emily, it is not only a pleasure to meet you today, but to also briefly speak with you about your new animated series, Goldie. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling good. It's nice to talk about a show that I wasn't allowed to talk about for 3 years,
Oh my
2
God,
years.
which is like literally the perfect segue into my first question. Of course, I wanted to know, like, how long has this project been in the works for you?
I think I pitched it in 2020, and then we started development, I think, in 2021. So about that long
And
from
you
development to wrap coming out.
Yeah, and you have quite the niche for animation, and it doesn't only seem like it's animation. It seems like, there is a strong passion also for children and the younger generation. Like, where would you say that, this passion steered from?
I think I basically loved childhood, and as I grew up, I didn't stop loving childhood. I felt really connected to that part of myself, and uh, I just think kids are amazing, and it's so important for them to see, positive influences on the screen, and I see that in my own daughter now,
Oh
who's
my God.
6. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, how old is your daughter?
Yeah, she would say 6.5. But yeah.
And I want to, obviously ask you, being that we're in the year 2025, right? And there are so many children and young adults coming to grips with who they truly are, authentic wise, and leaning into and unveiling some of those insecurities that they struggle through, like on a day-to-day basis. Like, why do you feel like now was the time for you to, hit the green but go on, this animated series?
I think that I for that reason, I see I when I was growing up as a girl, I kind of felt like I had to be perfect, and I think there's still kind of that built in to society with girls. And then on the other hand, I think still boys are not encouraged to be so emotional.
Yeah.
And so kind of just having these characters who have, especially Goldie, who has giant emotions. Like it's just she's undeniable with her feelings, and um, I think seeing that is kind of um, encouraging to kids, feeling like, oh, maybe if I cry, maybe my friends won't make fun of me, and they'll actually come to my aid and help me with my problem. You know.
Yeah. And I want to go back to 2019 when you initially won your award for Goldie the Short. Like, did that have any type of correlation behind you making a decision to create the series, version of it?
Well, I had always intended to pitch it as a show,
Mhm.
using the short as a sample, but I also wanted the short to kind of have a life of its own because I hadn't been able to just own an idea
Yeah.
or anything, because I had always been doing work under the umbrella of studio. So, but then when it came time to pitch it, I just always thought that even when I was making the short, that Goldie as a character kind of seemed iconic, like Clifford, the big
Yes.
red dog,
Yes.
and so I just felt like she really needed to exist um, in the kids show landscape, and thankfully other people thought that too.
And I've been fortunate enough to check out the series. It's such excellent work. And I really can appreciate from an adult perspective the diversity, portrayed throughout this entire series, like episode by episode. What is it that, aside from the uplifting and the encouraging, aspect of this, project, what is it that you would like for not only children, but parents to also gain from this, show?
Yeah. Well, I think of the town they live in, Boysenberg, as being like an ideal town, like ideal in diversity and like showing all the best things about humans, you know, um, diversity and acceptance, inclusivity. Those are really important values to me. And when I was making the short, I didn't have a lot of resources, so I couldn't do like the wide casting, for example, that I was able to do with Apple and represent, you know, a kid with a disability responsibly. So having the resources from Apple, you know, being this big company, felt like I was able to represent these characters authentically. Um, and it was important to me too, and having a diverse writing
Mhm.
staff, writers too.
And two more things before I let you go really quickly. The guest star lineup, I mean, it is quite impressive. We have Henry Winkler, Cree Summer, Al Yokovic, the list goes on and on and on. What did that selection process look like, particularly with the guest stars?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of people who I had always wanted to work with, like Maria Bamford and Nicole Byer, um, and then Henry Winkler. Like my executive, I think, suggested him, and I didn't even think that was a possibility. um, but he's such a nice guy, and Al Yankovic too. Yeah, it was just the nicest people in Hollywood came to be on my cartoon show.
And my last question before I let you go, what is your absolute favorite animated show and or series of all times?
Oh man, that's a hard question. But I think it would probably have to be, wait, can it be a hybrid animation and live action?
Absolutely. Yes.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
One of my favorites also, I have to say.
Awesome.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for your time. I am so excited for you and February 14th to get here, and congratulations on all of the forthcoming success of your show.
Thank you. It was really nice to meet you.
Likewise, thank you so much, Emily.
Take care.